Alright guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron Sullivan. I'm going to keep my eyes on the road so we don't crash here. So, on the last video I showed you guys how we took apart the engine, and that's basically it. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how we swapped the transmissions and put the engine back in. So let's get this video going and let's get started. Alright guys, so I didn't get a lot of footage of putting the new transmission on and putting the engine back together, but basically what we did was we put everything back together the way it came out. So whatever came out last went back in first, and on and on and on. So one of the first things we had to do was take the transfer case off. And so after we got that off, we were able to basically just swap the transmissions right out. So this is a good opportunity for me to show you how dark the transmission fluid actually was. Like I said, it was like engine oil. It was black. And transmission fluid is supposed to be kind of like a translucent, like pinky red color. So, like I said in like the last video, that's a very good sign that there's something wrong with your transmission. So after we mounted the new transmission onto the engine, we slowly lowered the engine and the transmission back into the engine cavity, just like we did before when we were taking it out. So what we did was we inched the car forward as we lowered the engine into the car. Another thing we made sure to do while we were putting it back together is we never sealed all the nuts and bolts that had to go back on, just so when we have to go back and basically work on anything on the engine, because we had everything out, it will be so much easier in the future. Having it be taking the tires off, doing the brakes, anything, replacing the starter, replacing the alternator, replacing any of those parts will now be just so much easier. So as you can see, we have the new transmission in and everything is working fine. The car's a lot smoother. When we first started it up, it was great. I couldn't even believe it was so much quieter than it was before. It's amazing how you just get used to how your car feels, so sometimes you just don't realize the subtle differences. But once we got the new transmission in, it was a world of difference. It was just like, it was crazy. Like right now, I'm driving at 40 miles an hour and drive, and no noise, no nothing. So that's awesome. So putting a new transmission in did solve the problem. So obviously the transmission was the problem to begin with. I'm gonna bring you guys just a quick drive down the highway, and I'm gonna show you when the car switches gears. So now we're gonna see when the car switches gears. So going up to about 40 miles an hour, it switches into second. Now we're about 50, which I have to slow down because the speed limit is not 50 miles an hour on this street. So if you can see, it doesn't even get up to third. Before it was trying to, the car was trying to switch into fourth at 40 miles an hour, and it switched into third at like 35. So obviously there was a little issue there. Now the car's switching when it's supposed to. When I first got the car, it always switched gears like that, so I never really knew that there was something wrong, because the noise wasn't even that bad either. I was told that it was just like the undercarriage panel like flapping in the wind, which it did sound like that, so I didn't really worry about it. I mean, now looking back, obviously it makes a lot more sense now, but the car's running great. So let's get to the highway, and I'll hop on the highway so we can drive back to the house. Go. Alright guys, so now I'm gonna get on the highway so we can see when the car is switching into third and into drive. So sorry. I'm gonna let these people go. lot better than trying to switch into driving 40 miles an hour. That makes a lot more sense. So, I guess the conclusion of all this is when you hear the shuddering that I heard, it's pretty much, I mean, it could be the computer, it could be the torque converter, and it could be the transmission. But if you're driving like that for a while and the torque converter is shuddering and you realize that, there's a good chance the transmission's bad because the torque converter goes right to the transmission. So if there's metal or the fluid is black like it was in my car, you're better off just swapping out the transmission. But it did help. The car is a world of different. The car is just so much better now. So I really hope this video helped you. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.